Hello, everyone. This is Celia Milton from NJ Vows Now, and I'm here with my partner in podcasting, Andrea Pertel from For This Joyous Occasion. I'm in the north of New Jersey. She's in the south of New Jersey and the central New Jersey. So we have you covered wherever you are.
Absolutely.
And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of venues where you were at this weekend, and then this concept of a personalized ceremony, which I feel like has evolved in time. Yeah, we'll talk about that too. Where were you? You were all over the place this week.
I had a great weekend. First of all, the weather has been
Oh, it was
absolutely
gorgeous.
amazing weekend after weekend. And I did have two beach elopements. I was out on Manasquan Beach, and
Mm.
that was just wonderful. It was so beautiful. You can see the pictures on my Instagram. And I just love a beach elopement with the couple and just two guests, or the couple in a, four or six guests or whatever, and a photographer. It was gorgeous. So, um, yeah, this time of year is absolutely beautiful at the shore. Perfect weather for your elopement.
It was
Also,
gorgeous.
both of us have some beautiful parks that we work out of for elopements. This is the time of year. You can't beat this weather, and it only gets better because in another month, the leaves will be changing color. It's just gorgeous. So
It's
keep that in
absolutely
mind,
beautiful.
guys.
It's the best time for the shore, honestly. I until I started doing weddings, I was never at the Jersey Shore until like September and October because it is just so gorgeous and it's not as busy,
Yeah,
it's not as crazy.
there's
And
parking.
there's parking, the traffic lights start blinking. It's just perfect in
It's
every
it is.
way.
It's the best time. And the two venues I was at, the one venue we've had on the show before, on the podcast before, I was at the Mill Lakeside Manor in Spring Lake Heights.
Mhm.
And of course we had them on because the Clark's Landing, the Mill Lakeside Manor in Bradford
Mhm.
Estates. We had them on before. It's just a beautiful venue, and they are always adding on to it, always changing, fixing it up. It's just beautiful. So because we had such a beautiful weekend, we were outside in their garden area. And again, you can see pictures on Instagram and also on their website. It was beautiful. It was such a gorgeous ceremony, just a lot of fun, a fun-loving, wonderful ceremony. I just love being there. They're so professional there.
They really are.
Nice.
And the
It's a
place
good
is
vibe.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
I guess their big renovation was a few years ago, and it's just the flow is so nice, and they have that beautiful lake.
They have and they had two swans were out on the lake. They
Oh, the swans, yeah.
indoor chapel that they're building. So that's kind of separate from the other building, which will be beautiful, but it's I think just at the end of renovations, and of course we didn't use it. It was so gorgeous. And then I was at the waterfront in Forked River, and a waterfront used to be Latitudes. It's out by Captain D's or whatever, out there in Forked River, right on the water. And that was fun. That was like a smaller wedding. I want to say about 50 guests. It was gorgeous, and
Nice.
it was an interfaith ceremony, because people are always so happy when they find us, and they're like, oh, you can do interfaith. You can put in some. This was happened to be Jewish Christian, so oh yeah, we can. There's a lot more Jewish traditions and customs than there are Christian in a wedding ceremony, but we have beautiful ways to weave in your favorite um, traditions from your religious or cultural traditions. So this one we put in, obviously we ended with breaking the
Oh,
glass.
I love that.
We did the opening blessing, the Shehekianu, and we did the seven blessings. And that was gorgeous. And their ring exchange wording was traditional Jewish. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine.
Nice.
And we sprinkled in,
Nice.
a reading from Corinthians, and it was gorgeous. Again, it was so nice to be outside. So,
I
uh,
think I think it's really fun when people too can see. I did a wedding a few weeks ago with one of the part of the couple was Indian, and she wanted some things from, or I'm sorry, Filipino, and she wanted some of the traditional Filipino traditions, and the groom was not at all anything. And I think it's just so interesting when part of your group can see something they might never have seen before unless they were at a wedding like yours.
Right, right. I, both of us do a lot of interfaith Jewish Christian or
Yeah.
Jewish non-religious ceremonies. Um, ones with Hindu elements or with Filipino elements
Yeah.
to it,
Yeah.
and of course, it's mid-September. Now's about the time we start working on those the Halloween themed ceremonies. So whether it's sprinkling in, you can personalize your ceremony however you like, and it might be by sprinkling in some religious or cultural customs or traditions, or maybe you like a certain theme. We're getting married on Halloween, or you can personalize it with how you met and why you fell in love.
Yeah. I think we were talking about this morning that, people don't necessarily want a very traditional ceremony that sounds like everybody else's ceremony, but a lot of people tell us in the course of talking that, well, we don't want to be in front of everybody for a long time. We're not big fans of, being the center of attention, and we don't necessarily want our entire love story told to everybody, partly because they don't want to be standing in front of everybody. And there's a lot of different places and ceremonies to personalize it and make it yours without telling your entire love story from the minute that you met until just last week.
It does not have to begin with we met on a dating app.
No,
But
no.
I did just recently have a couple like that. Some couples want that. My couple with
Yes.
the interfaith ceremony, they wanted that. And we did start with that. We talked about their first date at this Japanese restaurant, and what he immediately thought when he saw her and what she saw when when it was funny. There were some funny things and everybody laughed, and you could see the parents in the front row were, they were taken with some of the lovely wording of the description of, their handsome son and their beautiful daughter and, things like that. But I had a couple recently said, we don't want to do that whole thing. We don't want to talk about that. But how about we just write down our favorite things about each other? And I think they wrote 2 or 3 favorite things about each other. And so I took it and weaved it into the other wording. I mean, there's so many elements to a ceremony: the opening, greeting, the blessing, the charge to the couple, the idea, the readings and stuff. We just weave it in there and it personalizes it. And it's beautiful,
Well, and I think that they're, the guests that maybe, we have people that are couples that have gone all over the country for things like deployments or grad school or first job. And, they're, you have a lot of family and maybe they haven't kept up with your every minute of every day. So, we can add a little or a lot depending on what the couple wants to have in there. But I do like that idea. It's like, what do you really love about him? What makes him different? What makes her different? Because it's not the kind of thing. I tell this to my couples all the time. It's like, I don't get up in the morning and look at my partner making dog food and say, like, God, isn't he like the best? He's like making breakfast for the dog. So when you have a chance to think really intentionally about why are you here, why there are overarching things that make you want to be here. What are they? Because that personalizes it as much as they met at a Mexican restaurant after, meeting online. And some people don't want to be that exposed.
Right, right. And so, and if you don't want to go into all of that, you can also personalize it through the readings you choose.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Even, well, because I'm here by the shore. So some people, maybe they met on the beach or here at the, so there's some readings that reference the ocean, and that are beautiful love readings, perfect for weddings. And so we'll pick that, or like you said, even pets.
Pets, a pet blessing. Sometimes we'll have the moms come up and bring the rings and maybe say a little tiny, teeny something about, like a sentence, literally. But I have the readings here. I have the mountains. I have Emerson. I got all kinds of stuff to work with up here. And plus we got Game of Thrones, we got Star Wars. There's all kinds of stuff we can, sometimes just the littlest thing can make it personal to the couple without making it feel like they're completely exposed and on
Right,
display,
right.
which seems to
Yeah,
be a
I've
thing.
had, and I know you've had too, some couples, their favorite thing to do is travel. They like to travel.
Mm,
And there's some beautiful readings about how, travel, adventure is, such a love story. There's some beautiful readings that you can work in. So if you guys have something favorite that you do together or something meaningful, we could weave it in and start with an intro to the reading, saying, the couple has enjoyed many road trips and that's
yeah,
like to share this reading with them that's a reflection of, da 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 da. Tell us, we'll work it in.
yeah, yeah, and you don't have to feel exposed. I know, we send both of us send scripts out to our clients ahead of time so they can see what we're going to say. And if it seems too personal, well, we can just step back a little bit. But if it seems like there was something we needed to really tell them, how you slept on the airport floor in Colorado because your plane got delayed. Well, that might be fun for people to know too. It's not part of the epic love story. I have a lot of people who have bought houses recently and are doing a lot of spackling. So that's I'm writing a lot about the romantic possibilities of spackling together lately. It's interesting, but the thing is, you should never feel exposed or embarrassed or like it's over the top for you. That's not what personalized has to mean.
No. And I suspect that maybe people might have seen a
Yes.
ceremony that was like that. Maybe it wasn't done by a
Well,
professional
yeah.
and it,
Yeah.
it got a little corny or something or a little long-winded. We know. We
Or a
know.
little embarrassing. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's
it
true.
shouldn't be that way. It's not the best man speech or anything.
No. No, I had somebody that,
There's a difference.
reached out to me and said we were just at a ceremony that they had a 15-minute story in the middle, and that is absolutely not what we want.
Absolutely.
And it's like, if it's not done well, it feels exposing. And for a lot of people who are not used to writing for this kind of situation, it can feel just a little bit weird to the people, like they were watching something they shouldn't be watching.
Yeah.
'Cause-
And for personalized ceremonies, I want to say both of us also do baby blessings,
yeah.
baby welcomings, baby namings, and those can be personalized too. A lot of people like to keep the core of them kind of traditional. Most include a
Hmm.
water blessing. A lot
Yep.
of them include a candle lighting and the godparents and all of that. But I have one coming up next weekend that has some great personalization to it. And I know you were working on one too, where
Yeah.
where you talk about the name and what it means. I'm personalizing the godparents, like when they make the promise, do you promise to always be there, spiritually for this child and da 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 da. And then I go into their personalities,
Mhm.
and do
Yeah.
you, and I think that the godparents are going to really like that because it's the parents who said, yeah, this godparent is has a way of always being the calm in the storm
Mm,
and loving with their whole heart. And so we mentioned that. Will you teach this child the gift of this and that?
I like that idea. I do.
I love to personalize. Anytime you can just sprinkle in a little personalization, it's
Yeah. So
wonderful.
you all don't have to feel exposed out there if you don't want to be.
No.
No, it's like you
And
can it can be fine and funny and sweet and lovely, and then you go back down the aisle and you're married and you didn't feel like weird about anything.
yeah. Another thing, speaking of different ceremonies and personalizing them, is we both do house blessings as
Mm,
well. And I know that the fall equinox is not until September 22nd. But even though fall does not officially begin there, I had some time on my hands and I had cleaned my house really, really good cleaning. And I thought with this nice brisk weather, it just felt like a new beginning. I did a house blessing on my own house. And
oh, that's cool.
yeah, there's my site is houseblessingnj.com. And you can there's universal house blessings, there's religious. Christian religious, but then you can also personalize them too. And I've had people, well, I've had the pleasure to officiate someone's wedding and then be called a year later to come do the house blessing. And
Oh, that's
a lot
cool.
of times the house blessing is also like a housewarming party. And we
Yeah.
begin with a house blessing, and they might hang something up like a plaque, like, this house established in whatever year, or some other plaque. There's always, like an Irish house blessing or a prayer or something like that. This particular one had everybody, because it was a beach house, they had seashells, and they had everybody write a wish for them on the seashell, and then everybody placed it in their garden. They had this garden, so that was really nice.
Oh, I like that idea. I like that. You can hang up a horseshoe, because
Yes.
horseshoe is lucky, and there's all kinds of neat things that you can do. I know I've had actually baby blessings where they have made time capsules and had everybody at the blessing. They're usually, a smaller group of people, like, 20-ish people. And when they sent out their invitations, they sent them all cards and asked them to write either like a wish or an idea or a memory of the family. And they buried a time capsule in the backyard of their new house, which I thought was extremely cute.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. In fact, this baby blessing that I'm doing this weekend coming up, they're planting a tree. And so
Nice.
incorporating that into it. But I've also done house blessings where they, it's their new house, and then they plant a tree to go with.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it. Like it.
There's a lot of house blessings with that, whether they're like Wiccan, the blessing of the house with the elements, may this house be blessed with the elements. May the east air bring inspiration and communication. The south's fire bring warmth and playful spirit. And that there's, of course, a couple of different Irish house blessings and different prayers. Yeah, I think if you look into any different culture, you can find a special blessing for a house, for a baby, for a marriage, and what a wonderful way to personalize.
A new dog. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. New job. I'm thinking of John O'Donohue, who's got blessings for everything. A new job, an old job, leaving a job, getting a new one. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a couple of John O'Donohue books that you recommended me. Oh, the books we have.
Oh, yes, we do. We do. It's a good excuse for having them all around.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of fun, getting out the books and starting to write a ceremony.
Yeah. Yeah. But yes, I think the point is that, you can, when you're starting down this road to plan your wedding, and it's like, well, of course you want it to be personalized. That's kind of the point of planning a wedding, I mean, in my mind. But you may just sort of along the way decide that there's things that you don't want. Sometimes the things you don't want to do are just as personality defining as the things you do. I talk about this a lot with, my couple, like, how are you going to get down the aisle? Maybe you don't have that relationship with your parents that other people do. Maybe you want to come down, maybe you want to, those doors open and there you are by yourself. That is like really kind of powerful. And, there's all different ways to address your situation with your family and your friends and each other, that you're not going to feel compromised, and your personal beliefs as well. And that's, there's no such, in New Jersey, we almost don't have to say anything. So, you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. There's kind of freedom there.
Ask them if they take them to be. Yes, I do. You take them and pronounce them. Boom.
That's kind of it. Yeah.
That's kind of it. Everything else is tradition and different elements. And of course, the flow. I mean, on the one hand, if a couple wants me to guide them on the flow of the ceremony, there is a certain flow to the ceremony.
Yes, of course.
Any wording, like the charge, a charge is advice to the couple. In a church, that's where the priest, the pastor, whatever, might say, marriage is not to be entered into lightly, but solemnly, with great thought, da-da-da. For charges, of course, we could go religious, but I have a lot of beautiful readings or wording. So that's words of advice, and that's always said before the I do's. So with this in mind, I now ask you, and you ask them the I do's. So if you're going to have a reading that's words of advice traditionally you put them before the I do's. And then anything that's, so after the I do's, then would be the vows. And they say their vows and they seal their vows with the rings. Any unity goes after the ring exchange. And then any readings or prayers about what we wish for you going forward in your life as a married couple come after the rings, because it's a send-off. Of course, that is just the traditional flow. There are no rules. You can do it however you like. But if you ask me, where does this go, I'll say so. But I think both of us, every couple is different and unique, and we talk to them with an open mind, saying, so what are you looking for? How do you feel? Let's talk and find out what they want and build it from there. It's all about communication, you know? And they all turn out beautiful. They do. We've done so many different types. They're like amazing.
It's really pretty well. And then, you may have kids that you want to include, like little kids that are like your personal children, or babies on the way that you want to include. And, all those things, add to the personal feeling of the ceremony without necessarily telling your entire story.
Right. Sometimes the personalization will be as small as a ring. The engagement ring might be a family heirloom.
A family heirloom, yeah.
The veil might be a family heirloom, and we might want to say a sentence or two about that,
Yeah, kind of like that.
And so those type of things. And we've had it too with the unity candles. That might have been, passed down from one of the parents, or the Kiddush cup, whatever, right?
Yeah. I had a groom where his dad had passed away. I had a groom where his dad's like Converse sneakers. I'm trying to think of like the memorial things, because sometimes it's hard to include, especially if it's a parents in a memorial moment. But I think when it's done beautifully, it can be so poignant and so sweet, and be like a touchstone for the other people that knew the parent. And there's obviously, a lot of them probably did. But
that's another way to personalize it, is also with a unity ceremony. Because I remember you talking once about hand fasting and using like a father's tie as one of the ribbons.
Yeah, and mother's, lace from the mother's gown. And there's so many ways. If you just, we think about kind of deconstruct the ceremony and take the pieces out and look at them and say, well, what do we want to do to this to make it more like this particular couple instead of any couple anywhere? And, I think that's sometimes that's where the fun starts, I mean, unity rituals. Geez, I had a martini mixing ritual a couple of months ago. The popsicle ritual, I've done that, God, a dozen times, because it's just, the unity rituals that actually relate to the couple, I think, can go so much further in expressing their personalities than sometimes telling their entire life story.
Exactly. I agree. So if you're nervous about the whole personalized ceremony, let's have a conversation.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
You want to include, and we got you. Yeah,
that'd be fun. It'd be great. Sounds good. That sounds good. As we trudge into September and October, which are busy and crazy, and hopefully we'll get beautiful weather, so that'll be good too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so much going on. So many great venues. This weekend I'm at the Atlantis Ballroom. I'm at the Hamilton Manor, and I'm doing a baby blessing. How about you? Where are you heading?
We are going to the Tilling House.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, Michael's going to Tilling House. Carrie's going, I think I'm going to the Old Mill. I'm going to Rock Island. I'm going to Fiddler's Elbow. I have a nice weekend. I've got all places that I like, and I've got photographers I like and musicians that I like, and I'm very much looking forward to it, and discovering Tilling House too, because that looks absolutely stunning.
Yes, it's in Wall, I guess, Wall Township, New Jersey, around there. Yeah, it does look stunning. Yeah.
So we're just all doing what we can to get some nice weather this weekend.
I know. Let's let the weather hold out. So
let's look at it. Yep.
Yeah. So if you have any questions about personalizing your ceremony, feel free to reach out to us. Or if you had a personalized ceremony and did
what did
something
you do?
very unique, we want to hear from you. We want, and other couples planning their wedding, they want to hear from you. So reach out to us. You can always message us on all the social media sites. Everything is New Jersey Wedding Podcast. So you can find us easy. We want to hear from everyone.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Well, listen, have a great afternoon, you and everybody out there. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by New Jersey wedding officiant Andrea Pertel, owner of For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services.
And Celia Milton, owner of NJ Vows Now. Also, New Jersey Wedding Officiating Services. We're up in North Jersey, and Andrea is down in Central and South Jersey. So together we cover the whole state, don't we?
Yes, yes.